Morning.
Good morning. So I'm not too sure how many more people we're going to get on here, and I am not sure who is planning to lead this call, but I'm happy to help take notes or anything.
I mean, this was initially called by some, so maybe some you would like to lead.
Yeah, I'm happy to. We can get started and then we can start talking about what we need to do. So we wanted to, whether it's a separate area or not, there are two pieces of items that I'm interested in. One is the plan about what's happening with Magma, how we reach out to people, and what we talk about as an activity for the next, say, start with 1 month and then 90 days. Related to that is if there's anything happening at MWC in terms of, was there anything planned or is there any interest in even having an informal get together for people that are going to be there? Not everybody is going to be there. And the second is the town hall meetings for the community that we talked about doing. And I would like to discuss the forum and any related stuff that leads up to it. So sometimes, let's say, middle of this month. So those are the two items for me.
So, sorry, Som, right? I understand. But end of the day, the goal of this outreach is what, right? I have certain thing in my mind. I just want to get the thought process from people here, right? What do we wanted to achieve out of this? I understand, Som, you mentioned what is, from now to next 3 months, how we can, reach out to a number of people and onboard them, right? I understand that, but in general, I'm asking a quick one from everyone, please.
I mean,
Yeah, that's what I said.
go ahead, Sam.
Go ahead, please.
Okay, I wanted to say from my perspective, because I was suggesting this splitting the things and this into multiple working groups, and this is one of the working group which also aligned with what Sam was trying to do at the same time. In this working group, the idea is to make sure that we that we coordinate all our activities in order to expand the community from the development side and also from the user side. We badly need to have more end users, and we badly need to have more developers which are contributing to the code. And if we don't do this, if we don't expand the end users and the contributors, we are not going to have this project for a very long time. So this was the reason why we started discussing about this outreach, and of course, as I said, it aligned with what Sam was trying to do.
Got it.
I would second that picture of the overall landscape, that outreach has two different constituencies: companies and deployers, and then developers and contributors.
Understood. So Kendall knows that we have done a number of activities before, right? Both from both the areas, right? Lucas, we have done a lot of webinars, conferences, number of things that we have done. We can reinitiate, planning around redoing those, Kendall, right? So that's more from the point of view of both the options that you mentioned, Lucas. Maybe what we need to do is put together a plan. Next 30 days, 60 days, 90 days plan, right? What are all the different activities that we will do, and then maybe we will execute that together, right? So that's the thought process.
Yeah. Correct. Correct. This is the idea. All of us to put what actions. Actually, first we need to identify what was happening till now and where are we with the all the outreach activities. Is it something which is ongoing from the previous period? Is something which, by example, Linux Foundation is doing it by default? And then once we understand what's happening and where are we at the moment, I know that in the beginning, there used to be monthly town halls, there used to be open sessions each month for the new users for onboarding, but I have not seen anything like this lately. So, I mean, Kendall and Max, maybe both of you can help us to understand what was happening until now.
Yeah, there were monthly webinars. I know we had occasionally some town halls. Honestly, a lot of it kind of halted at the end of last year or mid last year as the project kind of was trying to figure out what they wanted to do. So I don't know if we want to copy what was being done, as there really wasn't a whole lot being done, and start anew, since the project kind of has a new beginning right now.
So just to add on to what Kendall mentioned, right, Jordan, so we have done a lot of, I would say, webinars, right? I was part of number of webinars, and we have done a lot of monthly meetings, right? Not meetings, but then actually presenting about the roadmaps and everything to the community, right? This is more from the outbound point of view, not from the developers point of view, I'm saying. Then we also did a lot of videos, right? At that point of time, most of the videos we created and we put it in our Wavelabs YouTube channel. We can see how we can bring that into, so there's a lot of YouTube, how to use Magma install, and a lot of work is done around that. Then we also did a training session for Magma, and we did that in Canada. Kendall knows that. So we created like 12 sessions and trained, everyone on number of areas within Magma, right? So there's number of outbound activities we did last year to be, transparent. And on the development side, I know there was this, I forgot the name, Ikoltau, what was her name, Kendall? She was leading on the developer side.
Ildiko, I think.
Yeah, Ildiko from Open Infrastructure Foundation.
Yeah, and they had done some work, and there was, they kind of wrapped up everything when OAF, was not contributing more. And there was some documentation. If we can get hold of the documentation, we can see what has been done, and then we can pick it up from there, some of the activities, and put all these things and holistically decide what we would prioritize and what we would do for next 3 months. Kendall, right? Do you know where the document is? If you could send it to all of us, if you could find that one.
If there is any
All,
document, it should be on the wiki, right?
yeah, all documentation is in the wiki, and so there are two parts. There's in the Confluence wiki, there's a documentation part, and a big part was also to update the GitHub wiki. But that's the developer-facing documentation.
Okay. Okay, I'll look it up, Max. If you also can send it in the Slack, for those who are not like too technical. So
I will try to remember. I'm currently in a taxi.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. So I'm Kendall, you know me, and I just also wanted to share. I'll be happy to help on this, right? Depending upon how TSC decides to do. This is something that we have been doing in the past. We have taken leadership to do in the past. We'd be happy to continue to support support the community with the outreach activities. Just wanted to put it on the table.
Yeah, of course. And we're not saying you have to be part of the TSC to be a part of any of these working groups. We are obviously want everyone in the community to step up in any way possible, not just being on the TSC. So we definitely are interested in your help, Cotter, in any way that you're willing to provide it.
Yeah, sure. And TSC, you asked me not to nominate because only technical people are allowed, so I didn't nominate. Just joking. So I'll be happy to help Kendall. We have been doing this work a lot last year, right? It's just a continuation of that, and we can streamline a little bit more, and we can do some good webinars, whatever activities that we need to do. So I'm coming back to your point. I think the first point is covered, and second point, I'm going to be in Mobile World Congress. I'm going there as one of the Canadian delegate. So is there anything that you all want me to do? I would be happy to do that in Mobile World Congress.
I think, I'm sorry to interrupt. I would say anything and everything, but please go ahead.
I'm having too much problem this morning with my controls and stuff. I keep missing things. Sorry. How about we started off sort of going around the room for whoever is joining about what you'd like to see. How about we do the complete circle? Is there anybody else that want to speak up and share what they would like to see or what they think about in terms of outreach activities or concepts of anything of that sort?
Sorry, my connection was a little bit stopped, but it sounded like I can now speak up as someone from the round and just start the round table. Is that okay?
Not sure I got the whole thing. Can you speak up one more time, please?
Yeah, sorry. I'm just adding my 2 points I have, or my point. What I think is the outreach should right now, or for the near future, decide what's the, should it focus on increasing developer count, or should it try to increase user count, one of both, and focus on that, and just to limit scope for now, to be more effective and faster and have a faster impact. And the other side should then be targeted later. I think that would be beneficial for the efficiency of the outreach.
Got it. Thank you. Makes sense. Anybody else?
So I said a lot. I hope you heard it, right? You said you went out and came back in.
No, I heard it and the recording is there, so no problem.
Okay.
I was in the call and my microphone was all acting up since this morning. I think it's somebody's above way of saying you're talking too much, but whatever. Anybody else around the table?
I have a thought. So Magma Core has historically been a commercially driven open source project, kind of a corporate open source project, and one that has been that has tried to grow through business development types of relationships, right? So forming business partnerships between established companies. And as a result, the work on community growth has been around attracting buy-in from third-party business leaders, people at the level of Cotter. My feeling is that Magma is neglecting organic growth by doing that. There are lots of people who sort of show up in the margins and are interested in participating in some way. And in general, we've sort of written them off because they don't have the ability ultimately to make contributions at a financial level, right? So there are sort of 3 levels of contribution and 3 levels of outreach that happen. There's the individual developer, there's the deployer or the user, and then there's the financial support. And obviously the financial support is, life-giving, so there's good reason for this. But because of that focus, the community has failed to grow organically and to invest in organic growth. And I think that sort of defeats the mechanisms by which open source takes root and grows. There are often independent developers who seem to be kind of quirky in their where they're coming from, but nevertheless grow the community and help create momentum. So my larger point here is that I'm a believer that outreach should include developers who don't come with commercial support and who aren't coming from a company. And I think that's been a minority perspective. And so I acknowledge that I'm swimming upstream a little bit, but I still am confident that this is a big part of how open source grows and thrives. Thanks.
Am I allowed to add to that, or are we right now going around the table? response, so I just continue talking. I think Magma is not a project that fits in this category or that attracts organic growth due to its high barrier of entry, due to its very niche position, and also the pain points where we currently are seeing that is very annoying tasks. And organic growth usually starts with the fancy stuff first. So even organic growth or okay, sorry, I understand on the organic growth something slightly different than you, Lucas. Let me call them hobbyists. I think that they can contribute and they can add something. I don't think that they will in the short term help with our pain points, even in the midterm.
Yeah, I think it's actually a very good point, Max, right? I agree with you. See, there are open sources that are more generic, but there are open sources that are niche, right? Generic tend to be like Kubernetes and stuff like that, tend to be a lot of companies coming in, contributing, even the independent developer contributing, because they get consultancy work and number of anybody who's coming and contributing, nobody is doing it for free, right? They're trying to make some way of making money out of their contribution in one or other way, long term, right, or short term, however it is. But I agree with Max. The 4G and 5G that we are working on is pretty niche, and if you go and do a competitive analysis of other open sources that are there in 4G and 5G, like OAI and others, and even in those open sources, it's not fully developer contributed. It's all funded, and it has to be funded in a way that it has to be brought to a level where the automatic adoption and community growth can happen, right? But what I sincerely believe, looking at as an outsider, whatever has happened with Magma is that before we got that to that level, we kind of backed off in many reasons, right? And that's the challenge that we have right now. Now, I do hear a number of people do say, hey, I wanted to turn this into a community-based, but it's an uphill, right? With all transparency and the knowledge that I have based on looking at other open sources. So keeping all these things as a challenge on the table, what can we do in the outreach to further improve the adoption is what we need to look at.
Anybody else?
Hi, Art. Hi. I am new to Magma, and I try to set up a simple scenario for carrier Wi-Fi. I'm working for a company, and I want to share my experience in a month that I have with Magma. I found I analyze many 5G core solutions like Open5Gs, Magma, and some solutions based on OAI and Kamailio. And as you know, I agree with the Kader that many of them suffer from low level of developers and contributors. Some of them have only one contributor, main contributor, and I find Magma have a very great community with many contributors. But I have a great challenge during this month that I couldn't find a path to develop and add a specific feature to the Magma to deploy my use scenario. So I think if we make this path easier, we could have many more developers and geeks to try Magma and test them in for funny scenarios and simple lab setups and for some local deployment of Magma. It's just my tiny little experience in this month. Sorry for inconsistency or if any thing not complete.
Thank you, Ali. This is very useful, actually. One of the things that I believe in the transition can help is getting real hands-on experience from the user side, not from inside out, but from outside in. So I always talk about any transition like this, you have an as is and then to be type of a goal. And it's a big transition for the community, but our goal is to make sure that things get simplified and things get adoptable. So as we sort of open up the channel for discussion internally, and we have to figure it out, and I want to take 15 minutes before the end of the meeting to discuss that, we should start thinking about how to share this, and so that people get visibility. Right now, the visibility can be improved, always can be improved. So the question is, in the lack of a lot of company-driven funding or foundation-driven funding, what is the best path forward for what we have, and then how to get that thing going. So thank you for that. Very much appreciated.
Thanks for that.
Sure. Anybody else around the table? Okay. So essentially to the open group, but to the TSC also, why don't I figure out, or what we figured out is a way of just capturing in one document what we've been doing so far. And then let me put a piece of document together and open it up for comments and circulate it among people for the next sort of I always like to do the 30-day, 60-day, 90-day things, because that's how we have to approach things. We cannot take on everything and do everything together. So let me share that with this group. Let's first talk about, then, if nobody else has anything else, like Niels or Mickey, what is the best way to get the discussion going? Is there a specific channel we should use? Kendall, anybody?
I think there is an outreach channel already, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, I think we have an outreach channel. If not, we can create one.
No, if we have something, then let's just use that. And then we can do attention drawing things to that. And then just having a working document where people can go feedback on. Is a wiki. We decided that we have so many different ways of doing things, but is a wiki the best way to get a living document up for people to gather comment?
Yeah, preferably using the wiki would be the best.
Okay.
There's a channel called the Magma Outreach
So why don't,
Committee.
please.
So, right, there's a channel called Magma Outreach Committee in Slack.
Yeah, that's what she talked about.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can communicate there.
And maybe we can just rename it to Magma Outreach.
Yep, we can do that.
Since there is no committee. Yes, sure. That will also prevent the inherent dislike of people to join anything that's got a committee. So we're good. Okay. Jordan, from TSC side, and of course, Max, from so much experience on the TSC side, anything else that we should discuss today? If not, I would like to sort of break it down into these 2-3 small pieces about what we're going to do this week and the MWC and stuff like that. Please, Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, we apart from this, I mean, we had very good feedback from Ali, and it goes to the initial discussion that we need to try to increase the all available assets for the developers to be able to kickstart them as soon as possible on the development path. And I mean, we started some show and tell meanwhile. We had this show and tell couple yesterday, so I think it was good. So maybe this should be another quick win for all of us to start promoting this show and tell, not only in Slack. Let's start promoting them in wherever we have connections, like LinkedIn, you know, on our websites, on the companies. So let's start promoting these show and tell sessions, and we can get some of the recordings which Kadir you have from the Wave Labs, and then improve them and add from these sessions and create video tutorials to kickstart the developers. So this is my final thoughts from the discussion. So Som, you can take over now from the.
Let's get a cross check something. Ali, when you tried doing this project with Magma, were you aware of the fact that we have webinars, videos, etc.? Did you know? Was it possible? Did you even know that these things exist? Did you use them?
Yeah, I know that there was some recording. I think last year there are series of webinars about Magma. I think, but I found that setting up a personal lab with Magma is a very hard task. Usually, you need some LTE, Inode B, or some other things, but I found it a path that developers can quickly set up a lab with their laptops with a simple host APD daemon to create a AP access point, connect the access point to the CWF, and set up a demo, set up a simple 5G core, and create a simple session call with 2 mobiles. When they try the pass, they can start development and test their real pass. But I think this pass is too hard. And if we can create a pass that we did without any special hardware requirements, such as Inode B or Gnode B, we could attract more developers, as I found in this month.
Reaching out to the group itself, do you think it's even possible to do like a demo day of Magma? Maybe, one company or 2 companies that are actually using, they have projects in there. We hear about this thing, but maybe under the umbrella of the outreach, we can have a demo day where somebody showcases, just like, on the other day, last month, when CMU was showing the Living Edge lab thing about this is what we have in the installation in our campus and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that, where a user can maybe highlight a case or of such sort would be kind of interesting. What do you guys think?
No, go ahead, Ali. Go ahead, please. Sorry. Go ahead.
Hold on, Kadir.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I think in my experience, we have I'm working as an researcher for an operator in Iran, MCI, the largest operator in Iran, and I'm trying to evaluate 5G cores for demo and for some rural areas. We have some lab setup in our company, but because I am working as a remote employee, I haven't any direct access to that setup. We have Inode B, Gnode B in our company, but accessing to remote Inode B, Gnode B, and working there is a hard thing. I agree with you that if we have a setup, we have a hardware setup, and we have a demo days, it's great for attracting people. But when people try to start development, setting up all the things and connecting all the setup is a hard and time-consuming task. I think if we could emulate all the things in the development setup and without any external hardware, we can speed the development cycle. And even if we could test everything locally, I think we have a make a great development experience for developers. I'm sorry for my English. English is not my first language, so I have many mistakes in my sentences.
We talked about the community and the developers and the users and stuff like that, but the developers also fall into 2 categories, which is people that are already familiar with or have as part of a project working on things like development, CI/CD, gateway development, feature development. But there's also developers that are coming in from outside. They're not users yet, but they're looking at the ramp about how to come on and do something. And I think any focus efforts that we can do on that, perhaps that's an area that we should isolate out and call out and see what we can do in a short term. And talking about videos and things like that, I'm just going to quip here for a second. There's a company called Synthesia.ai, among other companies that do synthesized AI video, short topics and stuff. And I've just found them amazingly useful in terms of user community for short topics. Those are like TikTok technical videos, but AI generated. It's a group out of Microsoft. So there are many things we can do, even on short-term budget, if we could focus on what we need to do. Okay.
Okay, thanks a lot.
I have a question. So this is more for you, right? Last year, whatever you're telling me, we did as a community, and much more. And still, we did not get actually, we lost the people. And why? I think that's what we need to look at seriously, right? Just repeating the same thing, what we did last year. I'm telling you honestly, we did last year number of things and much more than what you're saying, right? So now the most important thing to think through is that, so we did, Kendall can speak to it. So we did with Facebook 4 or 5 webinars. We did 2 or 3 workshops with what is that, OAF and others. We did at least 10 to 15 webinars, tens and hundreds of new videos, right? We did all that last year.
Kadir, I understand. What's your point? What's your
That's
suggestion?
what we need to think, right? It's not a point, right? We have to collectively think. We did all that, but still we were losing, and why we were losing, right? If we go and redo all these things, what is that we are going to do differently that's going to bring in people?
How many discussions were done like a person like Ali that was coming on and saying that you have a voice, you want to set up a small lab, tell us what you need so that it can focus our seminar to that. How many of those were done in the past?
Many, Som, right? I can give you a perspective. When we organized seminars, we had like 600 people attending.
So it'll be very good to have those information. Like we did this in the past for people that wanted to come on board. We did this in the past for people that wanted to come on the lab on board. These are the things, because here's an example, and it's a data point of one, that a gentleman was trying to come in and trying to do something, and he's explicitly saying that, yes, even with all this, I have difficulty coming on board. So not knowing what was done before, or what was the many reasons for however we came here, where we are and where we want to be, this is a small step. We can only take small steps in the right direction.
Yeah.
So this is not going to be where a think tank going to sit down and come up with a magical idea that's just going to shake a wand and things going to happen. We have a short time. We have a short budget. We have people around the table that are interested. And we want to go forward. So the history is extremely important. So we don't want to repeat it. At the same time, going forward, there's a lot of things have changed since last 12 months versus now, right? So all we can do is to sort of come together as a group, listen to people, and then do the best we can going forward and stuff. And there is no guaranteed outcome on all of this. But not listening is very difficult. I mean, very counterproductive. So go ahead.
See, the point that I want to bring here is that on the table is that learn from what we did earlier, right? And try to pick what you're saying it. I'm saying it in a different. Try to pick that could make a huge difference in the shorter time. That's the most important thing, right? So if you think through that, it always falls into 3 buckets, right? It always falls into 3 buckets. One bucket is ease of use, right, for the new developers to come in. Second bucket is ease of use for the people to take and deploy, who is not interested in developing but just taking and deploying and making it up and running, right? And then the third person is who is trying to come and build a product out of this and sell, right? So these are the 3 people that we need to focus, and we need to prioritize. Max kind of mentioned, right? We need to prioritize which one is going to be bang for the buck, right? And try to come up with a plan to bring those people in first and do the activities and plan the activities around that. That's what I meant.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody's arguing on that.
Yeah.
I think those are all very good points.
Okay.
Kader, I think that what you showed is that it's possible to have the funnel work, right? You were able to build a funnel that scaled up pretty well and definitely brought in interest. And what we learned is that there are obstacles at the next level of the funnel, and we have to figure out how to open that up.
Yeah.
Great. Jordan, I'm going back to you and asking so I think action item wise, together as a group, we can start collecting what we have in the past and let's just take a living document about what we want to do for the next 30, 60, 90 days, and then prioritize, just like Kader said, on the group, with the group consensus. And then of course, this has to be decided at the TSC level. And I'm talking about just getting the information together, not suggesting a budget plan or anything of that sort. That's not the point of this. This is just awareness of internally what we need to do. To that effect, can we talk about MWC unless somebody else have a couple other points?
Yep.
Ali, one other question.
Mhm.
Ali, where is your lab, if I may ask, in location-wise, with MCI lab?
Our lab is in the Tehran, but I'm living in Isfahan, and I work as a remote employee for them. But what I'm looking for is to set up my lab in my home, and with a minimal requirement, with one just laptop and 2 UE, and try to develop the Magma and do funny stuff, and then educate some other employees in the main lab to do the same scenario with the real equipments and test with the other access gateways.
So it's like a remote lab setup and stuff. And my apologies, I have a bad audio today. You said your main lab is where again?
The main lab is in Tehran.
Okay, in Tehran. Okay,
Yeah.
wonderful. Sorry, Jordan, I cut you off. Please go ahead. You were talking about MWC.
Yeah, we said let's talk about MWC, but now since Ali started, final question for Ali: what would be the most preferred way for you to have this information? Video, tutorial, web, something? I mean, web blog.
I think it's a personal preference. I usually prefer to read manual, to read text and do the stuff. I want to do the core of the things. One of my challenge with Magma is that I couldn't easily find the relation between the components. I have a high level interaction between components. I know they're fake. I read the course in edX about Magma by Bruce, as I remember. But finally, when I tried to add a feature to one of the elements, I couldn't find where should I start. For example, I want to implement S2A. I want to communicate with the S2A interface on the MNO's PGW, but I couldn't find where should I start looking the code, reading the code, and where should I start the implementation. It's hard for me. So maybe it's my fault to find the best place for a start implementation, but it's my experience in this month. I just only share my experience. It's not a real claim or just it's just my experience.
But it's quite important to hear your experience because
Yes.
we are biased. We are looking on this code for a very long, you know. And by example, I can set up lab without any equipment, everything on my laptops. But now I realize that I'm not. I mean, there are many people which might not be able to do so. So yeah,
So I
mean,
should
it's good.
I should ping you
Jordan.
on Slack after this session.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, Jordan, because Ali is talking two things, right? One is setting up in the laptop. And then the second thing that he's talking about, I need to understand the architecture, different files, folder structures, what is supported, what is not supported. And I know that S2A is not supported, and I wanted to write code, implement that interface. I don't know where to start, right? These are two different things, right? So
Correct,
he's addressing both the things, yeah.
No, on the architecture, I'm also struggling. I mean, many times I'm also trying to figure out things in the code when I'm debugging to figure out exactly where to go next. So that one we need to improve a lot.
Yeah.
But this is something that I will try in the next month to open it in the TSC. Basically, I will try to get another working group just to document the architecture and to make sure that we have proper architecture moving forward.
Oh yeah, documentation. Sorry, Ali, go ahead. You're saying something.
No. I don't want to say anything.
Kadir, I have a question for you. For people like you and Jordan, people that have actually set up Magma in the lab and the stuff, is it possible, or I'm sure something like that has been done in the past, to have like a demo day or even a demo hour, or somebody where this says, if you are XYZ, this persona, right? Let me show you what the steps you need to do, and this is the sort of equipment you do, sort of a hacking beginner's kit and stuff like that. Is it even possible to do something like that in a period of like a 1 hour, 2 hour session that people can actually listen to and so on, like a hack day kind of thing?
Yeah, it's possible. We can do it for both with simulators and with real equipments.
Okay.
Straightforward, yeah.
Something like this was. Go ahead, Jordan.
I did it in 1 hour on the ARM Developers Conference. So in 2 hours you can do very good demo.
Yeah.
You guys did something on one summit, correct?
Yeah, we did 2 hours on one summit, but this was hands-on the user. We were doing it in front of the users, and then they were doing it on their own boxes. And this is why it took 2 hours for the same thing, which took 1 hour on the ARM Developers Conference. But yes, I mean, we can repeat something like this and add to what Ali was saying, because at that time I was assuming over there that everybody knows how these simulators work. So I was just saying I'm using the simulator now. So maybe I can explain how to set up the simulators as well to
Also,
go through this.
I keep bringing up CMU because what Jim is doing with such a short group of people and with so little resources on the thing is very interesting for somebody who's not doing commercial development to come take a look at also something like that. So there's a lot of things here and there that we maybe start putting together. Talk about MWC, Jordan.
So, I mean, I will also be going to MWC, and I will be there only for Magma. So my purpose will be Magma only, and we have booth in ARM. So we will be located in ARM's booth. We will have also a place to have meeting for people who are interested in Magma. We already have lineup of several meetings for the people which are coming there. I expect that it will be good, but this will be good for the first point, finding new end users. So this would be more on finding people who are willing to adopt Magma as their core.
Kendall, is there anything planned from the LF side, or any activities at all for MWC for Magma?
I know there are some projects that are going to be participating. I don't believe we've planned anything for Magma. And I'm not sure if RPIT or any of the others would be there or not, but I can check.
So my question is, what does the TSC and LF feel that there is such a big transition that's happening on the Magma, to at least have a, is there like, do we essentially say just, whatever we have on the wiki, people that are interested, come take a look at it? Or is there going to be some statement of support for people that are going forward, or the community, or just the messaging? Anything, if nothing is planned, then perhaps at least what we can do is to, for people that are interested as an interest group in Magma. Jordan, when you talk about your booth, that's Connect 5G, correct?
Yeah, it will be Connect 5G, and we are guests of ARM. So we will be in the ARM's booth, but we will have our own meeting room, and we will have demos.
Kadir, you are going to MWC, right?
Yeah, I am going.
And what's your footprint? Does WebLab have anything in the MWC, or?
We don't, we mostly, we might have office space in Canadian.
That's okay.
But not, yeah.
So does it make sense for those that are attending MWC? Anybody else in here that's going to MWC? Okay. Does it make sense to make some announcement? There is at least a group of birds of a feather session, maybe a Magma BOF activity?
Yeah,
Yes.
it would be good. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, especially for the. I mean, we are, for our sole purpose is Connect 5G on the Mobile World Congress is Magma. So if we can amplify it through that we are there through Magma, it will be quite good.
But there's two things, right? So the one thing is, see, ARM is a company, right? Connect 5G is leveraging ARM processor and selling Magma as a product, right? So they being there is to, promote Connect 5G and make business, right? But what I'm asking is the second part, is this something that we can do from Linux Foundation purely for the promotion of Magma? So these are two different things.
No, I understand. I think, and I was asking the same thing, if there's an activity or thing planned. So look, MWC is such a big event, right? That doing anything starting now and cohesively doing something in our current condition at MWC will be extremely difficult. Anything that's off. So I was just trying to see who has footprint and understand that they are commercially sort of under one umbrella on ARM and stuff, but unless we can get Intel and AMD to come at the same time, which is going to take time, nothing else. I mean, these are not particularly commercially specific. These are well-known names. So if ARM is sponsoring a booth, or anybody else is like Web Labs or anybody who's going to be there, the least we can do is to have like a bird of feather session, at least discussed with disclaimer that this is a commercial booth that you're going to be stepping into it. So understand that. And I can reach out to the AMD guys and see if they will be interested in. I'll reach out. We can call out in the open channel that anybody is going there if there's any interest in a BOF. Simple as that.
Sure,
I think doing something for formally at MWC in this time frame will be extraordinarily difficult. I'm open to
Is
suggestions.
Linux Foundation LFN is there attending and having booths, their own booths there, Kendall? Do you know?
I don't know.
I do not know. I don't work on LFN, but I can ask their PMs.
Yeah, I mean, if they have a booth, maybe they may have a meeting room. We can do this like an open source community, like you mentioned, right? So that's option one. And option two is we can also leverage, if ARM is okay, or AMD, whoever is okay to support us to host Magma interested open source get together, can also be explored.
I think open source is a potentially strong hook. So open source in telecom as a whole.
So I can give you this commitment. I'm going to be there. Jordan is there already. He has his plan. So anything that you wanted us to do, we'll be happy to give you some time to do it.
Yeah, well, so I'll reach out on email or channel, whatever the thing is, to people that are going, and we should publish this in the channel directly. If anybody's interested in getting together for a BOF, we're trying to put one together. What is the level of interest? There's a couple of guys from Meta that's going to be going. I'll connect you guys up.
Sure.
Jordan, maybe you can meet with Shah also over there when Shah's going to be there. There's some activity that we're trying. We're right on the edge on LF connectivity that we're trying to probably have some footprint. So we'll see.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be good if you could introduce soon.
Yeah, no, I'll just put the announcement on the channel
Sure.
and then send it around. We're coming up on the top of the hour. I think I have action items that we talked about, which is to get that wiki and living documents so people who would like to see, start thinking about sort of a demo day, bird of a feather thing and stuff. And then Jordan, the community hall arrangement, is that discussion going to be a transition or outreach? Do you care?
No, I don't care where it is, but we need to do it. I mean, so what do you think? Do you want to have this discussion here, or you want to have it in the transition?
Again, I'm completely open, but go ahead.
I would
I'll-
add to that the town hall thing is a tool for transition, and its main it should help transition, and it should enable transition. That it also helps with outreach is beneficial, but not its main scope. So I think it's a transition topic, the town hall meetings.
I think that makes sense, especially for the rest of the quarter and the stuff, because rather than the broad things, it can be focused towards. I know Max is doing he's under a lot of stress about having the handoffs and things like that. So whatever we can do to help in that will be useful.
But, one thing that I wanted to comment is that I saw that we created a number of work groups. Where we are, probably thinner number of work groups will be better, right? A general input. So if you could combine outreach as an example, community transition, into one group, it would make. Otherwise, same person will be attending 2 meetings, more or less, right?
You're right, and I think what's going to see is they were separate because initially there was no discussion, and then if you do it in one group, you run to the other problem, which is you run through the C-SPAN of committees talking about endless different things, and then only partial set of people are interested in it. So it's okay in the first 30 days to have the separate groups, and they'll die natural death if people are not interested, and they'll collapse.
And we had this discussion, Kadir, on the TSC when we were creating the groups. We said that some of them will organically merge very soon.
Okay, that's good.
Like the transition is going to go away in 20 days, so things like
Correct.
that.
CI/CD will merge with the features. So I mean, some of them will organically merge, some of them, and maybe we will figure out that having more focused groups is better than having one big, large, wide group where everybody talks about everything.
And
we will see how it goes.
We
will see how it goes.
Thing is right or wrong.
We will play it by ear. We will see how it goes.
I wanted to give a shout out to Niels. I thought the CI/CD demo was very useful. It is a tough topic, so you don't expect a whole bunch of attendance on that, but it was a very good start. And I'm sort of racking my brain to think about what is the best way to go forward and to get the people that are interested and get into that a way of adoption. So
thanks a lot. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, happy to. Anything else? Anybody? Kendall?
One thing I want to drop in there is as part of our conversations about outreach in the TSC, I'm trying to support people in the discussions group in GitHub. Just answer anything, even when I don't have an answer. And I would invite other people to do the same. It's super easy. You don't really have to know what to say, just help them move forward.
And then all of you that are on the new TSC, an announcement on your LinkedIn will be kind of nice to see also. I'm just saying.
Yes. Maybe we should coordinate this. Kendall, can we coordinate these announcements through LF about the new TSC, and then we amplify it through our account?
Yeah, maybe an LF posting on LinkedIn.
Yeah, you can help with the information. We are happy to help amplify anything.
Yeah.
So maybe incoming and outgoing, Max and Jordan, maybe the two of you can sort of do a blurb that you can supply to Kendall, and that can go out as an LF posting, maybe by Arpit or LF in general and stuff, and then we can all sort of amplify that. Every little bit helps. Okay.
Yeah.
No, regarding this Mobile World Congress, right? I was thinking on the similar terms. Maybe we can create, right now at least we know Jordan and I are there. I'm not sure anyone else in this call are there, but at least we can create some kind of a LinkedIn post or whatnot that says, hey, we do X, Y, Z, and come and meet us, right? If you're interested to know Magma. We can basically say, either you go and meet an arm with Jordan, and I can give a space and come and meet us. We can do that.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a great idea. I think we should once we solidify what the BOF is gonna be,
Okay.
we should just announce it through another LF post or maybe a Magma post or as a TSC post even that we're doing this together. So
Sure.
probably come on.
Yeah. I think it'll be good because right now all the meetings are filling up. By second week of February, all our calendars will be booked more or less, right? In Mobile World Congress. So if you need to allocate some time, it's better that we do it within next week, some week or two.
I don't think we have to even do week or two. I mean, this is a simple thing. Once we sort of discuss it on the channel, and then maybe by this weekend we can lock in that yes, we're going to have something, and then we can go out. I will check with Jim. Jordan, do you want to reach out to Mark at ARM or?
I have meeting with him, I think tomorrow about the Mobile World Congress to discuss what we will do.
That'll be great if you could bring it up. And let me reach out to AMD guys, see if there's anybody else there's going to be. And the X Foundation members, people like Qualcomm and others and so on. I don't know how many of them will be interested in it, but at least having an endorsement or if a hand wave from them that yes, this is part of the transition will be kind of an interesting thing.
Can you get Intel because most of the implementations are done in Intel recently since last 1 year, right? Can we get
Was
Intel?
Was Intel ever involved in Magma? I don't know the history.
I don't know, but most of the things developed were on Intel, right? x86. Recently we started ARM, so I was just wondering, is Intel
in the four weeks, probably on doubt.
Okay.
It will be difficult. I don't know who will have
you mentioned when you were talking Intel, that's why I was thinking that maybe someone in Intel can take help.
No, it's not the knowing someone. I think it's there has to be some sort of a relevance for them for their PR group and stuff, and it'll be on a forum like MWC. It'll be very difficult for someone like Intel to come in from the cold. The reason I brought up AMD was part of the foundation. Okay. On the Magma Foundation, right? And so AMD maybe even have some possible. I just don't know. I'm thinking loud.
Sure. Let us know whichever way. I'm happy to support that. So
okay. I'll follow up with some action items a little bit later today, and so that everybody is in sync on what we talked about, and then we'll link to that discussion. Thanks again for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks everyone.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
May I say
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Sorry for I will be happy, and first thank you for allowing me to share my experience, and I will be happy if I could I can any help or to prepare that for demo for MWC. I would be happy if I can do anything for that. Just
Ali, are you coming to MWC by any chance?
I don't know. I'm going to talk with the manager to talk about that. If it's okay, I would be happy to be there, but I don't know now.
Okay. Well, if you do happen to be there and the stuff like that, meeting the people that are there going to be in person will be very useful, I'm sure.
Great.
Yes, worse, we can have a coffee get together, right?
Sure.
Barcelona has a great art museum, anyway,
yes.
among other things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot, everybody. Take care.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye.
Talk to you. Bye.
Bye.